Um,
Let me say
uh,
yes, we are back. Sorry for the interruption, but we are back. I am here with my cousin Badr Waheed. We was talking about, stuff we did as kids, and now we are in the midpoint of our situations. We talking about Teen Outreach Program, TOP. Badr, you was talking, and we got interrupted, but you were saying
I was
back
saying
on.
pretty much how if we are still talking about some of our role models from then that impacted us then, even though we're grown, we're not in jail, we're not drug heads, we're not this, we're not that. If we can still talk about them, is because at that point it mattered, it impacted
Right.
negatively or positively. And what I'm saying is, you talking to the kids, I know that thought had to be in your mind, at least thinking that if I can give them something positive, they won't go down this path.
Right.
If I can be that person, or if I can at least point to that person, whatever, and they can follow that lead, then that's the lead they'll follow. They'll teeter towards the positive, not the negative, because they can see clear. No different than how I was trying to explain in an earlier part, where like a person that now, literally now's time, that is listening more or had the ideology of somebody like Kyrie Irving before, they're teetering towards the positive. The guys that say listen to any of these mumble rappers that's really talking about streets and all of this other stuff, they're teetering towards the negative.
Right.
So you were trying to stop them just teetering in the negative, because this is the same group, it's just who they're taking their influences from.
Right.
Same group, same energies.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to teeter it that way. That's all.
Right.
But
these kids are no different than what we was. No different. They face the same issues and problems that we did, and
yeah. And this is funny.
They're really no different.
They would call a thing, and this is somebody else completely, but it is relevant to us right now. If they says the completely in all way, I would say repeatedly keep doing this one thing and getting negative results, that's crazy.
Right.
There's something like along those lines, but basically that's the point. To keep doing something and getting negative results, that's crazy.
Right.
You're repeating the same thing. So this is where we've been, generation after generation after generation, even after some of those failed leaders, not because they failed, but because either they got killed and the ones that's left is just suckers. To be honest, you look at Al Sharpton, yeah, that's my man. He's a sucker with a spotlight. Let's be real. Those are failures. That's all.
I think that's what's absent. From black men is not only the absence in the home, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the absence of men that could definitely grab some brothers and lead them. Like when we had opportunities and we had influence over people, mm-hmm. we was on some negative energy shit, and we was leading brothers in the wrong direction, right, where we saw the light. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what's missing in these young kids' life now, is they don't have nobody like we did. Somebody come snatch us off the street and say, hey, this is something different. Y'all could do something different. I see something in you that you don't see in yourself, and then have it get cultivated into something that would benefit yourself and other people. We don't have that no more.
Right. We're not, and even if it was a push by some of our, we say, family or friends, mothers, the older generation. They were trying to push us in that same direction with TOP, but you can't push, and you can't make the horse to drink any water, basically.
Right.
They were trying to push us in it, but we wasn't ready to go. Like Al and them, would have grabbed up the whole of North Camden if he
Absolutely.
could. And he tried. He tried. I mean, I can remember every one of us that actually ever did something together came through TOP, and they decided to chill, stay, and keep participating or bounce. You could Davo, Romy, Boodles, Gerard, keep going.
Right.
They just decided, okay, I'm going to stay, stick around. It is some positive. It is something. Hey, they beat us. We get to play Chinese bumper pool.
Right.
You know what I mean? For real. Remember that game?
And basketball. We went all over to all the different cities and played. We played Trenton.
Schooling jokers. And, you know, I was like the hacker. I was like scoring. But this I got 4 points.
I remember Al took me off the team. He was like, "Man, you can't play for the team no more. You work here." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, you had to be coached.
I was pissed. You know, I was pissed, but
yeah,
you know,
but that's the stuff. So they got to do all the same stuff,
right?
But they chose not to stay.
Right. A lot of people did. A lot of people that came through those doors. You had an opportunity to do things, and a lot of people took it. The ones that did, I see where they are at life now. They doing really good. And the ones that didn't, some of them doing good too. They just found their own way to do it. And you know, sometimes people find their path through different means. It wasn't meant for them to be there, so they found another way to do it. You know what I'm saying?
How I kind of look at it like a TP. It's like, you know, in one sense.
Go ahead and keep talking. I'm gonna turn my camera off for a second.
In one sense, it's like all those currents that took people from Africa at some point to the different islands, and you know what's America now, right? You know, if you got caught on one current and say I haven't seldom seas or anything, but I'm using logic of it, like you know that this current is going to take you to maybe 7 different currents, but you have to be able to navigate and wait for you get that good wind to jump onto that current versus getting pulled to these 2 or whatever.
Right.
They had to take their own path, but if their intended point was to get to that final, like they weren't too scarred or they just was not too hardened by the streets, they eventually found their way because they said, you know, I see the currents, many of these currents over here is going to this part of these islands which have this kind of benefit. And these currents are, you know, I don't know where they're going, but, you know, it is what it is if you get caught on the down. So when they seen enough currents going this direction, they say, you know, well, it ain't the same without, you know, so out here. I got to figure out what to do. Remember how many times we used to talk about our owl, not owl. They'd be like, yo, I know that joker out there lonely. Because half of us was in there, but he didn't want to stay.
Right.
He didn't want to stay. When he did come, he was always starting something. He like, yo, you gotta chill, yo, you can't do that. Like, you know we want to hook off, but come on, man, that's gonna mess it up with this guy. Like, yo, you can't do that, yo. Right. You don't remember having those conversations?
Yeah, I've been had them come because they had a way of pissing you off, and at a time you didn't know was good for you what they were saying.
Learn
but
to be peed off and then suck it up, get better, do something. I jammed you now, what, Joker? You know, just be better at who we were versus just strike out. But what you call would have had us hooking off with a whole bunch of, yo, y'all go over there. Nah, come on, yo. Come on, we'll mess up this whole thing for Dr. Pella, Al, or Mark, whoever set up the joint.
Right. And
so
sometimes the other teams we used to play, I don't know, did you come to that Trenton game?
Oh man, if I did, I know I probably wanted to, because there was some just dumb beef between Camden and Trenton. It didn't make sense, but it was like we didn't care. We just kept it up.
Man, when I tell you that whole gymnasium, it was probably
I remember because I was like, yo, we gotta get out of here.
Yo, we won that game.
Remember, he was plotting it out even before the game. He was like, yo, as soon as they go there, we hit the van. and wave them all the deuces. Remember we ran about that?
Right. And that, bro, that whole gym was coming for us, bro.
Yeah.
And they had
definitely lit up.
Man, listen, it was probably, I don't know, about 300-400 people in there.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to punch that much. We'd have got caught up. We'd have just been counting our bruises afterwards. Like, yo, that joke can't even know how to stop me.
Right. They don't know how to punch nobody in the face.
There only be like 3 of us, and we'd have talked the whole crew. We was like, we would have been talking like that. Like, yeah, they only kicked me like 2 times in the head. He thought he was doing something.
Right, that was our crazy ass way of winning. Hey, he only got 2 punches in, man. That shit wasn't about nothing. Yeah. Now, I would tell you, this is what you did for me, Badr. I'm gonna give you some flowers right now, right? Now,
Hold on, back up. Why you gotta give me flowers? Hold on, I don't even go into that stuff. Because I guess it comes from that stuff where people be talking about, I'm gonna get your flowers while you're alive. No.
Nah, I'm not saying that. Nah, I'm about to just tell you something good you did for me, brother. That's all. You know what I mean? Because it's not about. No, I'm just trying to tell you. Cause listen,
I know what you mean. Listen. If anything I did good, tell me when I'm dead. If anything I did bad, tell me now so I can fix that joint.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something good.
Philosophy. So when jokers are saying flowers, I'm like, nah. Maybe their heads are too big. They need compliments or likes on their posts and stuff. You say, oh, look at these. You know what I mean? Nah, give me mine when I'm dead. Tell me what I did bad so I can fix that joint.
Well, you ain't never did nothing bad to me, so I ain't got nothing to talk about, right? So I will say, I'll give you something good. I just want to tell you this, right? Because I remember when we was in your house, you know what I mean? I used to watch you pray before we went out and did whatever we did. And you was like, yo, T, you should take your shahada. And I was reluctant at first, but I did it, right? And then you was like, we need to go to the Million Man March. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And I remember, man, we literally like came in on like the last buses or whatever.
Yeah.
And we basically.
You got to the front, yo.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. We bust through the lines, bust through and got off.
In the best manner way. Hold on. Now, I mean, you know my beef with Fahrakan, but let's be real talk. We ain't busted no lines. It was so much love right there.
Oh yeah, they would just let you through, right?
It was like you were sliding through, dancing some line dance or something, because we all was behind each other, hand to shoulder.
Right.
We slipped through. Yo, what's up? You here? Yeah. Like the biggest gang in the world.
Right.
I think of it as like, remember, was it Warriors?
Come out and play.
Warriors. Listen, that was like that dude that day speaking of to all these soldiers.
Right.
And saying, we're going to take our community back. We're going to because that was kind of the message.
Right.
We're going to y'all need to get back and form groups. We even came back and formed groups.
Yeah, we did that. Little activists we became, right?
Right. Oh, no, we was on it. So we floated through that, I would call it a sea of love of brothers.
Right.
That was unparalleled to this day. And we came, not because it could have been anybody significant. Let's be real. Anybody significant for the cause. Fahrakan or not. We came for each other because we wanted to see each other grow. We wanted to see our community back to where it was. We wanted to see men stand up and be who they were in society, in our communities, in our homes, blah, blah, blah. It's no different than how we thought when we were younger and lost those role models.
Right.
We wanted that back.
That day significantly changed me because that was the first time that I saw black men, like not the people that was in the crowd, but up on a podium and was actually saying something that resonated with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know for a fact when I came home, I was not the same person. The message was strong.
Like hopefully over 1 million cats that was there. Remember they tried to dumb down that number?
Yeah, they tried to say it was
300,000 motherfuckers. Nah. We was there.
we was there.
300,000.
We was there. It was definitely 300,000.
We seen what we seen when we looked down. I wish we had the same type of cameras now, because it would have been no doubt they would have had to forthright come with it straight up. But they didn't. They tried to play the game, downplay it. 1 million black men can't come together without killing each other. And if they did now, we're going to make sure that they don't in the future.
Right.
You hear the plan? That's that plan stuff, man. We're going to make sure they don't in the future, because the next time it'll be 5 million. And they got their women in order. Because if 1 million came this time, we expect 5 to 10 million. They're going to have their society, their commerce, their industry. They're going to have all of that in order. So when they come again, we have to give them whatever we got, because they have their own economy running over there.
Right.
They can change whatever kind of currency they want now.
Right. I think, that's where the ball got dropped.
No, I can't say it got dropped completely. I'm going to say
not completely. The people,
strategic forces come into play to make sure that's why I kind of made it to the point of, if you have, all right, I'll bring it back. I'm gonna bring it all the way back, because that's what kind of helped us out of TOP, do all these different things. But then that also was stunning us to like getting depressed or whatever. Getting depressed or whatever about our society again, because we wasn't seeing the progress that we thought we would have seen after 1 million people came. Now, that's what I'm saying, bringing it back. Malcolm was like X, Y, and Z, right? He stood up, went toe to toe. He had this philosophy, when he was with Elijah Muhammad, right? But then when he went Umrah, Hajj, and then came back, he still had the basic saying, like, I need to do this for my community, but I'm not saying basing it on them anymore. I've grown past that, and I can't call white people devil, this, that, blah, 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 because I've seen something different.
Right.
Next to me praying to the same Lord, everything else. So he understood something different, but he still was upon that societal type of thing for us.
Right.
They had to kill him. Because if you don't kill somebody like that, you inspire another Black Wall Street and more. These jokers got more money to create a Black Wall Street, this, that. So Martin was there in a sense of he started to change his whole frame. There's a thing over for YouTube where he's talking to some group out west, and he's going over how the government is giving all these white farmers money, farmers not to farm, farmers for equipment, all white, and not, doing X, Y, Z for black farmers, right?
Right.
So he was going over all of these different things which the government is pretty much cheating them to do. He said, no, our next march, his words, we're going back for our check.
Right.
Reparations.
And that's what got him killed. It wasn't the civil rights. He had this much following
that first time. Same mall. Say, no, this guy got this much of a following. And he got that many diverse people, because it wasn't just all black people, right?
Right.
So once you get those people, and that exponentially, now you ain't going to get them. You're going to get 10, 15.
Right. Because now it's not about race, it's about class.
Right.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
now
Because
you got that many people. No, they had to kill him. Why? And who was left after that? All his other so-called lieutenants with the civil rights and all of that. It was Jesse Jackson, and what happened to him? It was Skinny Boy, Fat Boy. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right, Al Sharpton.
Yes, Skinny Boy, Fat Boy. You needed to stay fat, man. I'm being honest. You look better with that weight on. At least could have trimmed down some. But right now, it looked like you got some heavy problems. But they all fizzled. Why? Because they were scared of the death. They were scared that, if I keep along the same lines and get it, they're gonna kill me. They one of the two things, or they went and they gave them jobs. And they did. They gave Jesse Jackson, what did he have? The Rainbow Coalition?
Rainbow Coalition, yeah.
Oh, you can do all the same things that Malcolm was doing, continue their legacy. Here go the job. Same thing they did with Al.
Right.
Gave him a job. Distracted him, right? So who's left? They knocked out they made sure they knocked out, and there's already documented everything, right? They did that to the Black Panthers.
Right.
Documented stuff.
Right.
So the point is to silence Black uprising from whatever means it comes, or they're silencing it, or they're targeting it through adverse, like say for instance, like they push some of the Black women into the white feminist thing. It didn't like, hold on, y'all all women first. We all want to struggle on this together. Once they split us up, it's a problem. Now it's like, it's more confrontation, unnecessary confrontation where we both Black.
Right.
And if you're looking for me to protect you and they beating me over the head and you're standing back in the situation, it doesn't work out. You got to be there with me trying to take the whip so it's rocking out too.
Right.
They separated that. So we're talking about all targeted things. They target those things because they seen that 1 million Black men came together in a peaceful manner, made resolutions to go back home, to change their community, change themselves, blah, blah, blah. All those different things. You say, I will, all together.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
So
that was big time, dude.
These men would have had functional relationships, worked on their trauma, this and that, started to make families making homes, and keep going forth from there. That's where our communities are. Our community is in first the person, the relationship, the family, then X, Y, and Z, right?
Right.
So if you disrupt that, now, if they can do that to these people, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, and we can keep going down the list, just to use those recognized names, why wouldn't they look at that type of situation he just did? And they're forgetting him as Fahrakan because they already just discredited him heavily. Because some people that just don't agree with his views is not going to roll with him like, it's fair. Because honestly, it was somebody else than Fahrakan that maybe had half or 1/3 the clout and called for the same thing, maybe 5 million would have showed up. Because it's let's say it's 4 million who don't agree with Fahrakan, but want the same things. Because when we came back, how many people say, I ain't go to the march because Fahrakan had it, but I'm down with this.
Right. Yeah, I get it. But see, I get it, but I don't understand. I get it, but I don't understand it, because at the end of the day, regardless of what that brother talk about, it don't got nothing to do with the message he was saying in solidarity.
But if you don't want to listen to the message because you got so much disdain for a person, you won't be able to catch the message and agree or disagree.
Would you say that message was misinformation?
I like his message was what we all were thinking. But my point is only that there would have been more people if somebody other than Fahrakan was giving the exact same speech. Because there's just people in our community who don't like Fahrakan. Because they don't think white people are devils. They think they do some devilish stuff. Some of them may be devils, but they don't say, oh man, white people are devils and they are devils. They're not stuck on that. That kind of breaks their heart. because there's some white people that they really trust and love.
Right.
So more people would have showed up if the exact same message was by a different person. But knowing that, what I'm saying is, from the other side, when you see and know that many people could be affected by that, because those people, when they went back, they still wanted to work with the other one because it was about building their community up, not Chicago. Their community in X, Y, and Z, not Chicago. You know what I'm saying? They were joining up with those people. It fizzled out because you can't have that many people of color represent our community and doing things in our community. So you have to start targeting things. So maybe if we look back at time, you don't remember this statistic, but I'm bringing it up to make the point. There was a person who had a statistic. You can look it up since we got Google now, meaning it's out there. It said it was either 2000 or 2010. And I remember reading this statistic when I was in high school. So we're talking, 93, 94, 95. And it said by 2000, I forget, it was 2010. One of those two was a study, and it said 7 out of 10 black men won't be effective. And it gave the reason: to be on drugs, underemployed, killed or dead, disease, blah, blah, blah. They won't be effective. And I'm like, man, I said, how the freak would they even know something like that if they're not studying it, implemented plans? How would you know something like that to say by this time and date, X, Y, and Z should be happening? Why? Because you're studying the movement of something, and in studying the movement of something, you have to understand how it functions.
Right.
And predict what it may do when you institute X, Y, and Z, like a lab rat, in a sense, a mouse, or that, whatever.
Well, I mean,
you're examining, and that's kind of sickness at the same time. But we do that when we watch people. We kind of anticipate, okay, they're going to do, when we're driving, for instance, this joke about to come over. Watch. Come on, he came over. Experienced driver does that easy, right?
Right.
Because you know that this cat is about to come over. You can see the behavior. You've seen that same behaviors before, how they slowing down and about to move, blah, 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 the little jerk, all those different things. Employ that into people, and you're watching and expecting what they're going to do over time. If you want to institute something, put something in play, what effect it may have, or watch where it ripples. Now, if we probably go back and look, and we can probably say, around this time, this is what happened. Around this time, this was instituted as law. Around this time, the cops started cracking down more. Around this time, X, Y, and Z was happening.
Right. It's definitely always a plan.
It was orchestrated. It was orchestrated.
It is definitely.
You couldn't have, because there's no one person to kill. So kill a lot of them. How are you going to kill a lot of them? I need to kill their spirit. I need to ingest, because we were already getting drugs in our communities. That's why we lost some of our role models. That's why we got upset. Black men wanted to stand up for their own communities. We already had a lot of those things plaguing in. Yeah, and when we look further, we'll probably see some of those other things that when we look back at, like, wow, that was done to stop us in this direction from that current.
Right. Yeah, that 94 crime bill had a lot to do with that.
All of a sudden, we was just the baddest niggas ever. We was busting jokers. We was actually slowing down from busting jokers. The worst time ever was when we was 13, 14, 15, 16. We started slowing down by 17. We wanted to go party more.
Right.
We wanted to, oh yeah, yo, what's your name?
Right. And that's facts. I mean, you can look at different points in time and see where certain things were implemented, and you can see the negative effect that it had on us. Now, what I would say is this, though. What gives me a lot of joy is some, not all, but a lot of the young people today, it seemed like a lot more educated.
Of course. Love
A
it.
lot of them are paying attention. A lot of them are activists. A lot of them are actually putting their feet down on the ground and hitting the pavement and making their
They're taking
voices
more
heard.
chances.
Yeah, they
More-
taking more chance, way more chances than we did, and I would say not from lack of effort from us, but lack of opportunity. Now,
Yeah.
with the information age, with the even what we doing right now, they can get out there and spread a message and get people to move and motivate and do things that, back in the day you had to actually pound the ground to. Now you can just pick up your phone,
Right.
put a post up, and get a
Or-
thousand
That's what I
people.
said. If we
to
had
meet
a
somewhere.
phone, if we had a phone during that march, we would have been able to easily just prove out exactly how many. We didn't have those technologies. We was using straight
Right.
brain. If we wanted to memorize 20 numbers, we were just memorizing straight 20 numbers.
Right.
We had 20 numbers, I guarantee you, already in the bank, because what's Terrence's number? What's his house number? What's such and such number? What's our number? What's this? What's that number? We didn't have.
We didn't
we had
have
that
it. We
free
just
phone,
kept
remember?
it right here.
That free payphone.
Right.
That free payphone. If a joke was on it, like, yo, how long you gonna be, yo? You gotta get like catch certain people. Like, yo, who gave such and such the code?
Right.
We
Right.
had
And
those
everybody be
technologies.
using that joint back in the
Right.
day.
We
Yeah,
had those,
man.
we had those technologies. They have these technologies now. So I don't know. Is it a different distraction? Because are we at a different point?
Well, I think the social media aspects are the distraction.
It sure is.
And it's orchestrated because the technology in the phone, you could say, is good. It could do a lot of things. But the way social media is tailored to certain people's
Well,
taste.
that's because, yeah, they unfortunately, all the stuff that you be hitting, like, okay, accept when you go to different websites and all of that, they're
Right.
basically, it is a way into your phone to see what you're doing. So now
Oh,
all of this
absolutely.
stuff is tailor-made for you. So when you click on this, it's advertising and stuff. You just, and the people that's doing some nasty stuff, they probably recognize it more because, oh man, yo, shoot, let me take down the advertisement for that booty. Right. Yeah, because the person that do the clothes, now you got a little gap advertisement when you're trying to search for this and do. It's the same technology now. They're just sneaking in a different way to say, hey, what's your behavior? How
Yeah,
you
which-
moving?
well, it's been plenty of
It's
times
just an
where I just
updated way you did watch it.
yeah, I mean, it's plenty of times I'll be sitting down and I'll be just talking about, hey man, you know what? I need a new pair of kicks, or I need to start looking into getting a new vehicle, and shit just start popping up in my phone. And I'm like, I know I didn't type no search in. Why is it showing up in my phone? So
Yeah.
you know they listening to you. You know they doing this and that. But I just, you know what I mean? I just love the energy of the young people today. They got me like in really good spirits, because especially when that terrible shit happened to George Floyd, the way they got in the street, it was all young people, man.
It was
And I-
multicolored. So that's
And multicultural, yes, absolutely.
That's why nobody can lead that. That's my point, Terrence. That they will keep distractions. They will keep killing people, whether it's financially or straight out killing them, or politically, or putting out their dirt, or whatever it is.
Right.
That's the whole point. Because if somebody now could lead this group, because it never was going to be somebody like Black Lives Matter. I actually hated them to the bone when they first came out. Not the point, not at all. Being black, that just makes no sense. But because I knew they was corrupt.
Right.
They
Well,
was
it got co-opted. It got co-opted.
It was corrupt from the door, man. Trust me. That joint was corrupt from the door. It was another distraction. Because any group that says Black Lives Matter, that is stupidity, because all black people who are in those situations know we have to fix ourselves.
Well, we hope that's what we think. You understand?
No.
Because
I'm not saying.
No,
I'm saying, It ain't the police first, even that's an issue, but it's ourselves first. Because Raheem is killing Raheem, right?
Right.
Jose is killing Jose. Now, when the cop comes over and just brutalize us, them jokers been brutalizing us since slavery and before. Same cops.
Right.
What's the problem now? Because we didn't have that problem back then.
Well, I mean, all right. Well,
the same ones brutalizing us, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the difference? Did we say, "Oh, Black Lives Matter" right after slavery? Heck no.
Right.
No, we knew. Nah, keep it cool. Come on, let's get him up.
Well, we had to move a certain way. I think we had to move a certain way. Let's stop it right there for now because we still got like 2 minutes before our next break, and let's take the break and then we come back and
so
we'll
finish.